right, everyone. Welcome to this segment of the Regional Fishing Report. Tonight we are with Captain Tom Weaver, and he's going to be covering the upper Chesapeake Bay here in Maryland. We also are streaming live on Instagram. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. So we're going to bring Captain Tom Weaver in and get this show rolling. Can you hear me? Am I good?
I can. I got you. I got it. Now I can hear you. Yeah.
You're awesome. Loud and
So
clear.
just so you know, we're still having dinner. It didn't work out timing.
Oh.
So I got
thank
Jimmy.
you for taking the time to join us during your meal.
First mate Jimmy here. She's going to be offering pro tips too. Come up here, Jim. So Imogen, who's the boat stand doctor, she's going to be helping with fishing tips too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There you are.
We need a separate show for her horseback riding so we can get the cool tips on that as well.
Right.
The special segment.
Right.
So, how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing great. You know, it's one of those things where when you don't get many days off in the middle of the summer and we get rained out, I have to take time to be with our girls. So we ended up in dinner and we thought we'd be finished. And it's a daddy day, right? Is today a daddy day? Daddy day.
And tomorrow it's going to be all day daddy day because it's his birthday tomorrow.
Aww.
So this is our birthday dinner we're celebrating.
I'm sorry, whose birthday?
Whose birthday is it?
This guy.
Oh my gosh, happy birthday. How did we miss this?
This guy.
Oh my goodness. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So everyone who's tuned in, just to let you know, if you have tuned in with us before, we do question of the evening. So have your questions roll in during this segment, and Captain Tom Weaver will be choosing the question of the evening. And you will get some GI jigs.
Oh, GI jigs, good stuff.
Very fancy, yeah. And BKD.
They're the best.
Pink Delight. Pink Delight. I love the names of these BKDs. Bill Montgomery, the owner.
Sexy Penny's my favorite.
Very, very classy names for his soft plastics. So let's get into what's going on with you and fishing lately. I've seen some of those amazing photos. Do you have a special photographer? Because they captured, I think it was the sunset or the sunrise so beautifully behind the people that you had on your boat catching those amazing striped bass.
So I tell everybody my job is a photographer and fish is the subject. You know, I'm not a fisherman, I'm a photographer. But no, I use my iPhone. That was a sunrise yesterday morning. And, you know, these iPhones are getting pretty good. And, so it's mostly about getting the lighting right. And we spend the time to get that picture with the live fish. The guy who's just caught it's thrilled. And the fish is happy because he's probably going back over the side. And, so I spend the time trying to get good pictures.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have them to put up, but maybe we'll find them on your Facebook page at some point. But tell us what's been going on for you in the Upper Bay. Obviously, striped bass is the biggest thing right now, but what else is going on?
Well, it just lit up. I mean, we've been waiting, and it's tough fishing. I mean, I have to say that with this, we're all experiencing less and less fish, and the past month in that transition phase when we're waiting for the rockfish to come and school up outside the rivers. And we've dealt with all the cool migratory species that are red drum and cobia and Spanish mackerel, and they're all gone. And now we're like, come on, rockfish, you know. And please show up, you know. So they did. They showed up as right on cue. Temperature dropped to 62, 63 degrees. And outside the rivers, they're bundling up and blasting on the bunker. And so yeah, it's good. It's finally got there. It's periodic, and right now, just with the tides, it's interesting. They're all feeding on the streaming incoming and not much on the outgoing. So early mornings and late evenings seem to be when the tide's coming in, and during the middle of the day, it's hunt around and pick them off the bottom.
Awesome. Some people who are tuning in with us, welcome to the show. We actually have a question already, if we can bring that up. So Rome asks, are the blues pretty much gone now? Good question.
Yes and no. No, I mean, at Poplar Island, there's still got bluefish around there. We're getting definitely, and Eastern Bay, and some really, really little ones just nibbling at stuff. So there are bluefish around, and if you come across a school a week ago, and not even a week ago, 4 days ago, I came across a school of really biggish ones for our area, like 3, 4, 5 pounders.
Awesome. So where are you finding the fish? And we're not talking about spots, but we're talking about depth. Where are you finding them now that the weather is getting cold, the temperature of the water is getting colder?
So I would traditionally and typically expect really good topwater bite. The past 3 or 4 days I haven't. I think a lot of my topwater bites are very reliant on outgoing current. We've got incoming, and my spots aren't working on that. And as soon as the sun's up, we're hitting them in 20 to 30 feet of water. They're blitzing in that. They will be in top water again in the next week or so when the tide switches. But most of the fish are 20 to 30 feet.
Okay. Stephen Camboris. We're rolling here. Incoming seems to be doing better for snakehead as well. Thank you for that tip. Yeah.
Which is unusual. I mean, I do find an outgoing at a river mouth is normally really good, you know.
Yes.
It's just, I think it's a time of day and a lot of different things. I mean, if we all knew exactly what it was going to be, you know, it would be easy. But it's
yes, for
just
sure.
The way the pattern right now is that.
Yeah, we don't want to take all the fun out of fishing and make it too easy now. Exactly, yes. Stephen Camboris. Oh, we have pictures? No. Darn it, we don't have your pictures. All right. Tech issues. So yeah, outgoing at a river mouth is usually a sure thing, Stephen Camboris says as well. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know who Stephen Camboris is, aka Cambo Trout, freshwater fisherman predominantly. I'm sure he does a lot more than that, but big kayak fisherman, and you can check him out at YouTube as well as Facebook. John has a question. Is there an approximate size of striped bass that is big enough size that you don't feel comfortable consuming due to the possible accumulation of toxins? Thanks and have a great birthday. Okay, that's a good question.
Oh, thank you. Not really. I mean, my typical, I'm big on letting the bigger fish go, and for various reasons, and toxins possibly being one of them. But I think, you know, that if we're going to keep a fish, people think I don't keep a lot of fish. I do. I keep some fish, and the main reason is if a guy comes fishing with me and he goes home without any fish, his wife's not going to let him come again, you know. So I always say, go home, take a fish home to the wife. But a 23, 24-inch fish is fabulous, perfect size for 2 people, etc. Over 30, we release everything anyway, and I just am a believer in that. The bigger fish I want to protect and keep them around. So I'm not big on eating those bigger fish anyway, and I think the little ones are better to eat.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Dana, do you spend much time searching for stripers in rivers through the fall, or do you usually spend more time in the main bay, and why? That's another great question. Yeah.
Yes. So mouth of the rivers now in the main bay, the rivers dump into it, but up the rivers is the various tributaries.
Yep.
So right now I'm outside the big rivers, and I'm talking Chester, Eastern Bay, South River, Seven River. I start in the deeper water, and once that dies down, I will go up into the rivers and start looking for pods of fish on the bottom, and that's where you've got to get the technical jigging. You've got to get your good. Now, Grant's going to be very disappointed, but I got myself a hummingbird.
Ah.
I've got a hummingbird. Now there's no stopping me.
Yes.
And quite honestly, I'm not employed or paid or anything, but oh my goodness, what a machine that is. It's a game changer. And so you want to know, 26 feet to the right hand side of my boat is 9 fish. That's where they are. They're not. There's not 8 fish. There's not 10. There's 9. I'm counting them. And I tell you, I put that hummingbird on, and the next day I went cobia fishing, and you saw that cobia I got. I saw 7 cobias on my screen. It looked like elephants, about
Nice.
40, 50 yards off to the right side of the boat. So pretty impressive. So I'm using electronics through the middle of the day while the bite's slow, quote slow, no birds. But I'm definitely digging fish up off the bottom. I used to use my little, still have my little Simrad on there, but yeah, I use my electronics a lot at this
That's
time of year.
awesome. Yeah, for those tuning in, we actually posted a video of us talking to a representative from Hummingbird at the Annapolis Powerboat event.
Oh, you did? Oh, I didn't see it yet.
So
Yeah.
for those of you who haven't seen it yet, check it out on our YouTube page and also on our Facebook page as well. Really great information. Learned a lot from the gentleman. He's also a local fisherman, so he knows the bays and the tributaries as well. So he was a really great source of information for us. So that's really great information and great question. Okay, so we have another question coming in from Shore Sharp. Do you still deep troll with umbrella rigs? Down here in the Tangier Sound, most people quit deep trolling. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't, but right in amongst the whole show of boats that show up, we're dealing with the trolling guys all with umbrella rigs coming through, and they're catching the same size fish as us. And yes, so that happens. I don't personally. I'm a light tackle guy and fly, so that's what I do.
Right. So for those who are tuning in that aren't really familiar with our area or even fishing, right? We get sometimes newbies on here. Can you explain what type of fishing you do for those audience that are tuning in?
Say that again, Anastasia.
Uh-oh, we're having a little glitch there. Can you hear me now?
No, I didn't. Yes, yeah.
Okay. So
What
I was
type of
saying that
fishing
we
I do?
have viewers that don't fish or may not even be familiar with who you are because they may not be in this area. Shame on them for not knowing who you are, but can you explain to them what type of fishing do you do?
So in the next two weeks, I've probably got 50% of my trips are fly fishing trips, saltwater fly,
Nice.
and the rest is what we call light tackle jigging. So we're using light spinning rods. We hunt for the fish when I see them either visually on the surface with birds, or I see them on electronics. We cast and we jig. So we don't have bait or lines in the water all day long. We spend our time looking for the fish. And then everybody's responsible for their own fish. Essentially, you got to go catch it, And I spend my day improving people's jigging techniques for sure, and that's the technique of actually catching the fish and the technique of looking for it. And so I get plenty of people who own a boat, live locally, and just want to improve their fishing. They come with me, and then the fly guys. Now the fly is a very different deal because it's quite a very active, interactive, or whatever you want to say. So my job is to put them in a position to be able to cast to get a fish.
Yes.
And the challenges in that are A, these fish aren't sticking around on the surface very long, and B, there's lots of other boats, and so I have to I separate myself a little bit from the crowd. I figure out where fish are. I anticipate where they're going to come up a little bit. I give my guys a shot at it on the fly. And if I have a good day, they're thrilled because they catch a lot of fish.
For sure. And you are now known for something pretty special. Can you share with the audience what that is?
What's that? The drum?
Yes.
Yes. Well, the world record drum. We're still waiting. They haven't approved it yet. So keep the fingers crossed. But we got a world record. I've taken people from South Carolina out and people from other places, and they're like, "You have the world record drum?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." They all show me pictures of ones that aren't quite big enough. But I said, we got that up here in Maryland. In Maryland,
yes. So Captain Tom Weaver is a wealth of information, has so much experience, and just a great all-around guy. If you want to get stuck on a boat several hours with someone, you want someone that you can relate to, have fun with, and Captain Tom Weaver is your person. So how can people get a hold of you if they want to schedule? And I definitely recommend that to everybody. I mean, if you have had the world record catch on your boat, I think that you're going to probably be one of the most sought out captains on the bay. But how do people get a hold of you?
Well, the best thing to do is just go check out my website, fishwithweaver.com. That's got all the information, the styles of fishing I do. Lots of videos. I put a bunch of videos up there, but also the rates, the half-day rate and the full-day rate. Typically, the fly guys will go for a full day just to give themselves a bit more of a chance. And then all the information's on there. That's including phone numbers and where I am. I leave out of Annapolis, Maryland every day. So it's not, where I'm going to leave from. And I do half-day trips and full-day trips. So.
Awesome. I actually hope to get on that list someday.
Good.
We have one more question by Rome. If you had to choose one hard bait to use during this season, which would it be? Also, I got the Tom Weaver combo not too long ago from All Tackle. Right on.
That's it. Yeah, Tom Weaver combo. They sell it. Yes. They sell a ton of those. Yeah.
He says, "Can you sign it, please?"
Of course I will. Yeah, I'll sign the cork handle. Did you say one hard bait I would choose?
Yes, one hard bait you would use during this time.
So it's interesting. I'm not a. So hard bait. Okay, I'll ask that question. I use and I'm gonna go. The number one hard bait I use is the Super Spook XT, and I remove the back treble and I put a single on it.
Oh my gosh!
And I use the XT. It only has 2 sets of hooks, and that's the top water lure. It's not a quote hard bait, so to speak, because I don't really use a hard bait. I'm not an X-Trap type of guy. I mean, I use in one spot in the whole Chesapeake Bay. I use some X-Trap, which I file the lips off because I need it to come 1 foot under the water. Outside of that, I don't really use hard baits at all.
Yeah. That's a cool tip. Grant was all smiles on that tip. And yes, be careful with those treble hooks. They are trouble. I don't know if anyone saw recently that Grant got
hooked. See that, but I still leave one treble on. My job is to catch fish.
Yep.
So I leave the front treble on. I mush the bobs down, Grant. Mm-hmm. Every single one. I have really good wire cutters on my boat that I can cut the wire off. And I remember Jamie one day called me from over. He said, he called me. He was a couple hundred yards away. He said, "Have you got any hook cutters on board?" And I said, "I do." He said, "I got a guy with a hook in his cheek." Oh. I carry them on board in a Ziploc bag covered in oil because mine were seized up that day and rusted up. So now I oil them and carry them in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
I did see that picture of Grant with one in his hand. Ooh. So I mushed the bobs down so you should be able to pull it out anyway.
Okay, then those are good tips. So Shore Sharp says, hit the thumbs up, show these. Okay, thank you. I thought it was a question. Thank you, Shore Sharp. And thank you, Brian McCormick. So we're gonna give you your time with your family. Enjoy your birthday.
Well, thank you.
So we're gonna close out a little early here and end with question of the evening.
I think the hard bait one. I like that.
Yes, let's bring that up.
Top water.
So Rome, to connect with us so we can make sure that you get your prize, contact us through Facebook or at admin@thefishingchannel.net so we can get your address and get this sent to you as soon as possible. So Captain Tom Weaver, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure, especially when you're having dinner on your birthday. Thank you so much.
It wasn't supposed to be. We were all supposed to be done,
No,
come and say, Jimmy, come here. Imogen's going to come and say bye.
Oh, such a sweetheart. She's so cute. All right. So yeah, tune in to Captain Tom Weaver through Facebook and Instagram and fishingwithweaver.com. Fishwithweaver.com. So thanks everyone for tuning in, for all your great questions. For everyone on Instagram, thank you so much and have a great night and fish on.
Just hang around, too proud to be your fool. You said no thank you when I tried to